We are here with Miss Fabulous Reonna Green, and I'm so excited that you're here, Reonna. You were actually the first person I messaged to do this, and I was like, "Oh my God, she's gonna be in court. She's not even gonna do this. Oh my God, I'm gonna get rejected." And then you're like, "Yeah." I was like,
I'm like, yeah, let's
"Okay."
do it. Yeah, for sure.
I was like, this is happening. Okay, cool. So, for those of you joining in or you're watching the replay, this is Reonna Green of She Trademarks. She is celebrating her 1 year of She
1 year.
Trademarks.
Yeah.
And she is a hairstylist turned attorney, and she's fabulous. I just got one of her contracts, and it is life changing. So tell us about your journey. How did you become a lawyer from a hairdresser? Is this what you always wanted to do? Like, I want to know everything.
Yeah. So I always, like when I was little, I wanted to be a lawyer always. But then when I got to high school, I got like all involved in the glitz and glam of like hair, nails, personally, just getting my nails done, getting my hairs done, all that. So at some point, my school offers what's called ROP. So it's like a training for people who don't necessarily want to go to college. So you can take like automotive, you can take Cosmo, you can take esthetician, like different courses. So I jumped in on the nails and esthetician and actually got licensed for nails at 16. And then like as soon as I could take state boards, I was there. And then continued on and got my Cosmo at 17. And then was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do hair. Like, I'm just going to do hair. I'm going to do nails. Like, I'm just not going to go to college. And then my brother like had some wise words for me at one point in time. And he was like, why don't you want to go to college? And I'm like, well, it's just a really long time. Like, I don't want to do it. And then he was like, well, the time goes by either way. Like, you're either going to be working those 4 years or, you're going to be in school those 4 years or you're doing both. But like the 4 years are going to pass. Right. So, I ended up going to college, but did hair the whole way through. So I did hair all while I was an undergrad, got to work my college classes around or work around my college classes as opposed to working my classes around, my job. And then did it in law school too. And when I was waiting for bar results. So I did hair like the whole way through. And then I actually didn't do when I first got out of law school, like beauty professionals wasn't my focus. I really hadn't figured out how to combine the two passions yet, like my passion for like the hair and the beauty industry and then my passion for the law. So I originally took like a more traditional route and was a prosecutor for a while, tried a lot of cases. Yeah.
Okay.
And then after that, I went and worked at insurance, like an insurance defense. I worked for a big insurance company. And that's when She Trademarked like really became a thing, because when I was working at the insurance company, they found out I was a cosmetologist, and all of a sudden I started getting all of the salon cases. So people suing salons, people suing stylists. And then I would be sitting in like, my really good friend's chair who I've been friends with since she taught me how to do clipper cuts at Supercuts, right? Like, yeah. So been friends with since I was 17. She would like complain about stuff that was going on in her business, no shows, like cancellations, things like that. And then that's when I really was like, wow, there is just a ton of misinformation out there for beauty professionals, a ton of beauty professionals who don't understand the need for certain legal protections, and a lot of risk out there for, the beauty industry that people aren't aware of. And so that's when I was like, man, I have a really special opportunity here to kind of reconnect back with like the beauty industry that I love. Beauty professionals are like my people. So yes. It's funny. I actually went to LashCon recently and spoke at LashCon, and that was my first time being back at a beauty convention since probably it was like 18 or 19. And I've been to lots of lawyer conventions since I've like been practicing, right? But when I went back to LashCon, I was like, just like being immersed in the beauty world. I was like, man, these are my people. Like, I love the beauty conventions. I love like, the beauty professionals. Like I walked in, everybody's like glitz and glam head to toe. Right. I go to like a lawyer convention, everyone's like in suits, gray, blue, like, you know, no
Totally
hoops, no nothing.
miserable.
Yeah. So I was like, man, I was just like so excited. And that's just kind of like, that's the story. That's how it like came to be. And then now it's just my mission to get beauty professionals properly protected and like they're legal and enforcing their boundaries. Like, you know, we work hard behind a chair, hard behind like a lash, you know, table, just hard in general. And our time is valuable too. And so I want to be able to have people legally be able to enforce that, not just like texting the policies or, you know, it's kind of the story.
You right. Okay. It is an amazing story because I also was going to law school. I was taking my LSAT or whatever, and whatever, it didn't work out, but you did it. You were like, no, screw that. I know quite a few salon owners who have told their stylists who wanted to go to school or whoever, oh my goodness, why do you want to do that for? Oh my God, no, you can make money here. And you totally just did it. And you're like, screw you guys, I'm doing this. And now it's full circle. And here you are again. And you're like, it can totally be done. So for those of you watching who are discouraged or whatever, it can be done. So you do you. But
well, yeah, I mean, it's like the one thing I will say about like the beauty industry is you can make your own schedule, you can be your own boss. So if that goal changes and you want to be your own boss of something else, you can use all of your skills and all of like, you know, your flexibility and whatever to go pursue whatever else it is that you want to do, whether that's like going to college or getting a new trade or, you know, doing something else.
Yeah. Okay. So then I was looking on your website when I was getting your contracts, and all of a sudden all these like questions were coming to me, such as like, well, you know, because you were saying how if you take pictures of your clients, you should really have a contract for that. If you're going to do a cancellation policy, you really want to have a contract for that. My thing is in the salon when you are having your consultations and you're doing all this stuff. I know from COVID, clients were having a heart attack because they had to sign like a COVID waiver or whatever. How do you like integrate like a photo release or a like I'm gonna whatever it is I just said. My mind went blank. But like how do you integrate that in where it's not weird for the client?
So yeah, so okay. Here's what I want people to remember about contracts in general is that you are contracting and you are waiving so many stuff all the time that you don't even know about. So for example, you go to Jiffy Lube to get your car, you know, an oil change. When you go to Jiffy Lube for the first time as like a first time customer, you are signing a bunch of documents for them to look at your car, right? And you're not really paying attention to what you're signing, but you're like, yeah, sure. You know, like, yeah, please just change my oil. But if you ever take a look at what you're actually signing, you're signing like a waiver, you know, regarding like the maintenance or whatever they're doing. You're signing a contract on like if there's an issue with the service that was performed, how you have to go about like resolving that issue. And that's in like your day-to-day life. So I think like when you go about to incorporate contracts and incorporate waivers and all of that with your client, when they first come, so first new client, then you just give them the stuff, you know, you're like, hey, before your first appointment, let's have all these things signed. So it's not even a question about like, why do I need this? I never had to sign this before. It's just your policy when you get new girls in or get new clients in, that's how you're doing it. Then for clients you already have, you just kind of tell them like, hey, you know, revamping this year, like it's a great time right now. We're in the beginning of February. You're like, hey, revamping all my paperwork this year. Want to make sure that everything's legit. Like, please, before your next appointment, sign all this stuff. I mean, if they have questions about like a COVID waiver, you tell them, well, COVID's a big thing. The salons were shut down for a very long time, you know, in the height of the pandemic. And so we have to have these things signed in order for you to have your treatment done. Or if it's a photo release, you're like, you know, you always say like, hey, no problem. You can use my before and afters. great. I love that. I just want to make sure that we have it in writing, you know, if any issue comes up, or if I want to use it and promote an ad on Instagram, or, you know, whatever.
Right. So no fear. The whole key is to have no fear. It's your business. It's your rules. It's your reputation. So you got to be
Right.
confident.
Yes.
Okay. So Amy Wanger 90 asks, what's your opinion on paperless versus hard copy?
So I like electronic stuff. I mean, we are in an electronic day and age. I have people sign contracts in my own business electronically. Okay. So they go out, like when I get a new client, it gets signed electronically. Like we're not really in the day and age where people are signing paper forms. So an electronic signature can be just as good as a wet signature. Courts will accept an electronic signature, but you really have to have like the proper information in the signature block. I have in mind something that basically says electronic signature has the same effect as if this signature was signed in person, you know, or a written signature. I don't remember exactly what the terms are, but basically you're saying that this electronic signature acts, you know, under the law the same as a wet signature would on a hard copy paper type thing.
Okay. And okay, so for like my area, we have a great mix. So we have the older generation and we have the tech savvy people. So from what I'm hearing, it's a good idea to have, you know, a little bit of everything and just implement it every single time.
Yeah, you can have, I mean, for the people that aren't so tech savvy, you can have when they come in, you know, an iPad available for them to like sign, do all the signatures. I mean, that's a good way to do it. I try to stay away from paper if at all possible, because you have to store that, right? And then people are like, oh, where is that consent? Where did I put that? Like, so now do you have like a good storing system? Now, how long are you going to be keeping these like paper documents, right? And then with electronic, you have them stored. They're like stored in the cloud, or, you know, stored however you have them stored. And it's there. You don't have the hard copies. If you need them, you can easily access them. If you get a chargeback for one of your policies, you've got that signed contract that you have readily available to attach to your email, you know, when you're disputing the chargeback, things like that.
Yeah. Amy asks again, what program would you use to send the forms?
You can use a couple of different things. Some people will use like, you know, a DocuSign. You can technically use like a Jot form. I know Gloss Genius has the ability to kind of upload your contracts and consents. Vagaro is another popular one. Depending on, I think, what plan you're on, you can actually input your own consents and then send those out as well. I was going to say like HelloSign is another one. So there are different options that you can use to get your forms signed that are still legally enforceable.
Okay, cool. And Anna just said that you can use Square. Anna is one of our other speakers happening this month, so that's exciting to see.
Hi, Anna.
Hey. So Pure Bliss, this is becoming a Q&A and I just love it. Thank you guys. Please drop in your questions. Pure Bliss Boutique says, how often do consent forms need to be re-signed if using DocuSign? Oh, I love that.
So here's the thing. If you're doing the same procedure, you don't necessarily have to have them sign a consent every time that they're coming in. I mean, that's best practice. But I understand that people don't want to have consent signed every time. So if you're doing lash extensions and you're always doing lash extensions on this client, you don't have to have it signed every time. But I would have them sign it at least once a year. So at the beginning of every year, I would say, hey, we're, you know, redoing consents. It's January. Like, please have all this filled out by your next appointment. Because if there's ever an issue with your consent or with your policies or whatever, you're going to want to prove that they understood your policies, they understood the risks of the procedure, that, you know, whatever it is. Be like, well, it's in my client services agreement. And they're like, okay, well, when was that signed? Oh, this has been a client of mine for 10 years. Okay, well, they have no idea what's in that contract from 10 years ago, right? Like, so if you have them sign it every year, if there becomes an issue, you're like, yeah, well, you just signed that January of 2022. So I know that you know it was in it, and it's your obligation to read it before you sign it. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So for a lot, I know there's like a big trend right now. I'm a life coach as well for the beauty pros. And I know that we are having some speakers who are coaches as well. It's important for us as coaches too, to also have contract, like for every profession, really, you want to have a contract. You want to be
Everybody needs
able,
contracts. Yeah.
everybody needs contracts. Okay, got
Everybody
that
needs contracts.
question.
Here's the thing. People are litigious these days, right? Like people will sue for things, but it's not even about lawsuits. It's more about like enforcing your boundaries. So if there's an issue with your service, or if there's an issue with something that your client's supposed to do, so if you're a graphic designer, if you're a coach, and as part of your coaching, they're required to turn something into you or do something for you, and it stalls you from moving on to your next thing that you have to do. You want your contract to lay out the rules of when things are supposed to be delivered to you, or what times you're available, because you're a life coach doesn't mean you're available 24/7. It doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get back to them in 5 minutes. So having it outlined in there, your response time in communications, how you're going to communicate with them, all of these things really help enforce your boundaries and help make sure that everybody is kind of on the same page about the services and about what's going to be provided.
Absolutely. See, everybody, it's all about your boundaries. You have to know who you are, where you begin and where you end in order to be successful. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We're just fun as in the beauty industry. So there you go.
It's fun for sure.
We were totally fun. Okay, so let me see. So, Reonna, you have, okay, so your contracts, would you recommend that anybody who purchases your contracts from your website or who signs up with you, do you recommend that they get your contract reviewed with an attorney of their state, or are they totally good with just having yours and
the contract templates are templates, right? So they are general, they're not state specific. So in a sense, I mean, a lot of contract clauses are going to be the same across all states. But if you want that added protection and you want to make sure that like you're not missing a clause for your state specifically, or you want to make sure that the language in one of your clauses is, perfect, on point for your state, then yeah, you can take the contract and you can have it reviewed by an attorney licensed in your state. The good thing about already having the contracts created is that if you went to an attorney in your state and you're like, hey, I want a client services contract from scratch. Well, it's probably going to cost you, I don't know, $1,500 to $2,000 for your one custom contract. If you have a contract reviewed by an attorney licensed in your state, probably going to do it on an hourly basis. And it's going to take them a lot less hours to review the contract than it is to draft it from scratch. So from an economic standpoint, if you get the templates and you want that extra security, you're still going to come out on top because it's going to take a lot less time for that lawyer in your state to review it.
See, which everybody, I did get my contract reviewed by my lawyer. and it's so funny because people who are not in the beauty industry, their minds get blown off because they're like, oh my goodness, you really, even my lawyer, wow, you really need this or that? Seriously? And I'm like, you have no idea. Write it, notarize it, get it done.
Which contract did you have reviewed?
So the booth rental
agreement.
And I also had him do a salon manual.
Oh, okay, cool.
A guidebook.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about guidebooks and manuals for salon owners, even booth renter people? Like, should they have one? Should they not?
Yeah, you need salon guidelines, manuals. It's kind of like an employee handbook, right? But even on like as a booth renter, they're not employees. Right. But you got to set out like expectations, how things are done, that type of thing, like the overall procedure of your salon.
Yeah. It's so true. And like, even for the salon owners watching, you really have to know what your vision is. And if that's something that you're struggling with, get a coach, figure it out, because knowledge is expensive.
Right, for sure.
So thank God for She Trademarks, because you bring it all together very simply. And I am so grateful to have found you.
Thank you.
I think it was Independent Stylist Podcast. She told me about you, and I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, for sure.
So Reonna, tell us about, I know you have a webinar coming up, you have a giveaway coming up, you have a whole bunch of things happening for you over there. So what's going on? Tell everybody.
Yeah, so giveaway ends on Monday. I have my first round going of what is called Beauty Boss Legal Boot Camp. It is really designed to take the Beauty Pro from Beauty Pro to CEO in 6 weeks. So it basically is week one, we're going to talk about intellectual property, the name of your salon, the name of product lines, name of courses, things like that, to see what intellectual property you might have that you want to protect. Then week two, we're going to go into LLC formation. It's going to basically be, this is how you would go on and create your own LLC. It's a done for you program. So every week we're going to, or done with you, I'm sorry. Every week we're going to do a topic and then we're going to implement the topic. So it's not just going to be one of those ones where I dump all the information on you. Hey, this is an LLC. This is why you need it. Hey, this is professional liability insurance. This is why you need it. It's really going to be, this is an LLC. This is why you need it. Let me show you how you can do it. I'm going to give a demo and then go forth and be great. I'm going to sit here. If you have questions on, filling it out, I'm here to answer questions. So after the end of every week, you should have something checked off your legal, checklist of things that you need to have done. So BBL for short, Beauty Boss Legal, BBL for short.
I love it.
I didn't do that on purpose, but doesn't everybody love a good BBL? Yeah. So Beauty Boss Legal for short is starting in February. I'm doing a giveaway for my 1 year. So people that enter to win are getting a spot in the BBL program, but to sweeten the deal, they're also getting a bundle of contracts of their choice. So pro contract bundle that gives you things that we talked about, that client services agreement, your waiver. So if your hair waiver, your hair intake form, your photo consent, COVID-19 waiver, and testimonial waiver. So you're going to get all of that. We have a week where we're doing contracts, so I'll be there to help you customize it. If you have certain particular policies that you're doing, I'll be there to kind of go over that with you, help you get it set up in whatever system you're using, and then you'll be as good as golden, really.
Oh my God. Everybody needs to go do that right now. I already put in my submission for this giveaway, so you guys got to do it.
Giveaway closes tomorrow. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about it because it's been great. And then, so that's the giveaway. And then on Wednesday of next week, I got a lot of things going on next week. Wednesday of next week, I'm doing a free webinar. We're going to go over Beauty Pro must-haves legal edition. So gonna kind of talk
there. It's on my calendar. It's on my calendar, girl. Yes.
Gonna talk about LLC, like why you need it. Gonna talk about some issues with professional liability insurance, general liability insurance, and then also going to talk about, contracts, policies, how to actually enforce your policies, because here's a trick, here's a gem. Just having it on your highlights as your policies or screenshotting it to your client after they've booked an appointment, not enough. Not going to stand up if you've got an issue with a chargeback because you don't have an agreement. Like, you have policies, you have suggestions, but you do not have policies, right? Like, you are suggesting that they do this, but you have no way to enforce that they do this because you don't have contracts.
Oh, that sucks. Yes. Okay. I'm like thinking about my own. Yes, you're right. Okay.
I mean, it's great. A text, they're like, well, I have these policies. They know I have a 48-hour cancellation. I'm like, okay, tell me how they know that. Well, it's on my highlights reel on Instagram, and I send them a text after they confirm, and in their confirmation reminder. Okay, you've told them these things. They have. Where is there an agreement? Yes, I understand your policies. Yes, I agree to them. Yes, if I'm late and I no show, I'm paying full price for that service. Where is that actual agreement? And that's like the problem that I see a lot of beauty pros have is when they get hit for that chargeback for $225 for their full set of lashes that somebody just no-showed for. They wasted that time, right? That time was gone because that client was not there. And so according to their policies, they have the right to take that money. But then credit card company says, show me where there's an agreement. Right. Show me where there's that agreement. And then they're like, well, here, I screenshot it and sent it to her. Okay. That's not enough.
Right. I had somebody tell me once it's because since it's an agreement, both people need to physically sign it. Like they both have to be on the same page, and signing it is the action taken that this is okay, that this is going to happen moving forward.
Correct. That's why you have to have it. And that's why I always say client services agreements, I think is like a new term that people are learning, because what it is it's their policies in contract form. So it's your policies that you have on your highlights that you're screenshotting and sending. It's all of that, but now it's just in a legal document that you can enforce. And so it's your client services agreement.
And I love that the beauty industry is getting more acquainted with this, because for a long time, I don't know if anybody else has experienced this. If you have, comment that clients, family, friends, they're like, oh my God, oh please, you just do hair. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to do that.
There's
It drives me crazy. I said, whoa, some of our classes are more expensive than medical procedures. So, excuse me.
Yeah, well, it's the whole like, and I think but here's the thing. I think it's a mix of clients, family members, friends having that like you're just a hairstylist mentality.
Right.
And lots of beauty professionals having that mentality too, though. Like, oh,
Yes.
well, I'm just a hairstylist. I'm just a lash tech. I don't need contracts. I don't need trademarks. I'm just a. And I think that's a horrible habit to be in, because you're not just a hairstylist or just a lash tech. You are a small business owner.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to treat your business like a small business owner, because, one lawsuit can tank your business, bankrupt it. Okay. Not even on like a lawsuit basis, because I get all the time, people are like, I don't know anyone who like has ever been sued. I'm like, well, I'm here to tell you, I worked for insurance defense. I've handled a lot of salon cases. Like, people are getting sued. But aside from that, it's just a boundaries. It's just a like respect your business and respect, like the things that you have going on. So don't be just a hairstylist, be a business owner, be a small business owner, and treat it like that so that you have everything in place if a problem arises.
Total mindset shift. The
Yeah,
total
for sure.
mindset shift that we got to have. All right, you guys. So we're going to be wrapping up. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments, drop them in the little question bubble thing.
Question bubble thing. Drop them in the question bubble thing.
Do it. Just do it. You know what I'm talking about. What else do you have? What other closing comments do you have, Reonna, with us today?
I would say one of the things that I really want beauty professionals to know, is, I think from a professional standpoint, it is way more cost efficient to be proactive rather than reactive. So lots of beauty pros and small business owners in general, it's not just beauty pros, will wait to put off legal until an issue arises instead of doing legal in the beginning. So like, I don't need an LLC. And then, next thing they know, there's an issue and they're like, oh crap, I wish I would have had an LLC. Or like, I don't need a client services agreement. And then there's an issue and they wish they had it. Or what I see a lot is people holding off to trademark because they're like, that's an expense that I don't really want to like do right now. I don't want to trademark my name. I'd rather get a new logo or a website built or whatever. So they pour money into designing a logo, creating a website, getting marketing material under this name. And then time and time again, I have people come to me. They're like, hey, I want to trademark this name. And then I do my trademark search, and then I have to deliver the horrible news that I understand you just did this website and you've been using this name now for, 2 years and you paid for this logo, but you actually are infringing on someone else's trademark. Like, you actually have to completely rebrand. So all that money that was poured into marketing and building this brand that they love and like getting their following and getting their client base to understand the brand that they're building is just kind of gone out the window. They have to rebrand. And that is costly and that is expensive. And then if you're infringing on somebody else's and they get wind of it, it can be even more expensive because any money that you've made from using someone else's name, you could be responsible for damages to them.
Oh my God.
It's
what?
Yeah.
It's so important to do your research, ladies and gents. Oh my goodness.
So there was a case a while ago. It's not a beauty professional case, but it's just an interesting case that I like to give. So there was a girl that was going by Pokey Girl on TikTok. Okay. She had like Pokemon tattoos, was going by Pokey Girl. She like went viral and started selling shirts that said Pokey Girl. And guess what happened? So I don't remember the owner of Pokemon. I don't remember like who the actual I don't know if it's like what big company it is that actually
Right.
owns the trademark for Pokemon, but it's irrelevant. What is important is they got wind of it and they sent her, you know, basically like a cease and desist, was like, hey, can't do this. Also, she got sued. Also, I want damages for any money that you've made off of my trademark, because they said Pokegirl was too close to Pokemon. And guess what? She had to fork over all the money that she made off of her sales. And
Wow.
so she went viral. She made all this money from, like, you know, these shirts, these whatever, but she was using someone else's stuff. And so she had to pay them.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned something before, you know, about the websites and everything. I had heard, I don't know where I heard it or read it, that you really want to even have like disclaimers and like legal stuff on your websites so that you don't get sued as well. Do you
Yeah.
know anything about it?
Yeah. Like terms and conditions you need on your website,
Yes.
privacy policies you need on your website.
Yeah.
So most websites are collecting information, right? You either have like Google Analytics on, or you have,
Mm-hmm.
you know, some type of thing that is, they're being tracked. So people that visit your website are in one way or another being tracked. Now, I'm not great at the tech on this,
Right.
like how it works, but the point is every time somebody goes to your website, you're getting information from them, you know, and you have to make sure that you have the privacy policies in place saying like, hey, if you don't want to be tracked, you know, you can opt out here. Hey, this is how your information have somebody come on your website and you don't have those privacy disclaimers and terms and conditions on there, you can actually get fined. So people, you know, will get fined for not having the proper things on their website.
Oh my Lord. Okay. My mind is like, because it's a whole other world than just putting in foils, from just doing lashes and nail and like being creative. This what we're talking about are building blocks because you are a small business. And
Right.
it's like a whole different part of our brains that we even use. So it's really important that all of us who are here, we're here on purpose and we got to go do this.
Another one, okay, this will probably be my last like little tidbit. But another
Okay.
one is disclaimers for like warranties, right? So everybody has basically what we're considering professional portfolios on our Instagram. Like we're advertising on our Instagram for lashes or for
Mm.
hair or whatever. So
Yes.
somebody comes in, and this is okay. So this is two parts. One, the disclaimer for the warranty, but two, why you need a client services agreement. Somebody comes in, they sit in your chair, they show you a picture on your Instagram. I want blonde like this, right? Or I want my volume lashes like this. And so you're like, okay, yeah, I can get you blonde, or, you know, okay, I understand that you want a heavy blonde or whatever. And then their blonde doesn't come out exactly like your Instagram photo girl, or their lashes don't come out exactly like your Instagram photo girl. Well, so here's the legal question. Did your photograph create a warranty that if they like sat down in your chair and said, hey, I want this icy blonde, and they don't get that icy blonde, did it create a warranty? Like, you know, and
Oh
there's
my
all kinds of things
God.
that go into that. So for example, you have no idea, like everybody's hair is different. They all have different things that have been put on their hair, right? Their hair history is different than the next person's. So in
Right.
order to get them to that blonde, it might take them 3 sessions. So
Right.
what should you have in a client services agreement? Something that says, in order to achieve desired results, multiple sessions may be required, right? Language that
Wow.
like you probably don't have. So they come in, they think they're going to be blonde like your Instagram girl. They're not that blonde for a multitude of reasons. And you're like, no, it's going to take you 3 times to get there. And they're like, well, you didn't say, 1, you didn't say that. 2, I didn't agree to that. And 3, I told you I wanted this picture and you told me you could do it, you know, and you told me yes.
I have actually witnessed this. The clients are upset and they're like, I want my money back and all of this stuff because of poor communication on during the consultation, not having this in place. It was one particular that I'm thinking of. It was terrible, and the business lost a client. So did the stylist. The Google reviews, like it was a nightmare, all
Right.
because of that little piece.
So you know, I think one of the ways to do that is, you know, in your client services agreement, you have that language in there about
Mm-hmm.
some things may take multiple sessions. You have that language in there about what to do if there is a dispute. You know, you can have what's called non-disparagement language in there that basically says they can't go onto Yelp or go onto Google and write a terrible review until, you know, they have talked to you about options, or until they have like communicated with you, given you an opportunity to fix the problem. Like, those are all like things that you could have in your client services agreement, and you probably should have, like, to avoid these issues. Also, your disclaimer about like anything, you know, that you may have seen on the Instagram page or advertise on Facebook or, you know, something does not guarantee exact results, you know, therefore, you know, advertising purposes, but does not guarantee any specific result for any specific client, you know, language in there like that.
Oh my Lord. Yeah. All right, you guys. So if you are still watching, be sure to follow Reonna on She Trademarks, sign up for the giveaway, get her contracts for your business. We're going to head on, if you want to keep on watching and you want more, I'm going to head over to Reonna's Instagram now, and we're going to do a live on her, and she's going to be asking me questions. And yeah, this was awesome, Reonna. Thank you so much for
You're welcome. No
all
problem.
of the knowledge. A lot of people love it. My brain is exploding. I got a lot of work to do.
All right, everybody. It was good seeing you guys. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all your good questions.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.